All right, welcome to the Self-Care and Mindfulness Summit. We've got London with us today. London, what's up? How are we doing?
Hey, Nick, I'm good. How are you? Happy to
Awesome.
be here.
Yeah, thanks for being on. It's awesome to connect. London is a international, I'm going to throw it in there because you are, in my view, a holistic lifestyle and fitness coach. You have been a major part of Runtastic for years and just kind of a leader in online health and wellness. So super excited to get you on and super excited to connect. And I know you were into my studio a couple months ago with some of your friends and did some awesome workouts together. So it's been good to kind of stalk each other over social media for the last couple of years, meet each other, and now get you on here. So thanks for joining us.
Yes, totally. I love the stalking comment. That's the beautiful part of social media, especially in what we're doing. And yeah, sharing information online and social media has been super powerful. And yeah, like I said, or like you said, I was in your studio and I feel like, I don't know if I've officially hung out with you very often, but being on social media and knowing what you guys are up to in San Francisco and just, yeah, figuring out different ways to rock it together keeps that connectedness. So it's really awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, London, why don't you tell us kind of who you are, what you're about, and why we should listen to you and the topic of self-care and taking care of ourselves and self-love, whatever comes out.
Yeah, besides the fact that I'm just, super energetic and annoying, why else would you want to listen to me? But my name is Lunden Souza. I've been in the health and fitness space here, online and offline for the last 13 years. So I started just kind of with my own personal fitness routine in college that turned into me being a personal trainer, working with my colleagues and classmates and things like that. And just really over the last, 13 years, rolling through all of the different, let's say, ebbs and flows and waves of the fitness industry, starting out really in, I would say, for lack of better terms, like that bodybuilding bro science mentality, really working out, having this split, really just focusing mostly on getting in intense workouts and having the right macronutrients, and then going into what I'm doing now, which I kind of learned the hard way. So, being in the fitness industry, as for years and then, 13 years on end, things change and, your mentality shifts and what you think is important and what you find works and, is sustainable. It just changes and shifts, and science shifts, and what comes mainstream and things like that change really, really a lot. So over the last 13 years, I've just really been investigating that space for myself and for others. And it's just been, super, super, super interesting. And like I said, making tons of mistakes. So I went from this space where I was, in college, running, working out kind of aggressively, eating what I thought I was supposed to, a lot of supplements, a lot of protein powders, a lot of this, and this, very regimented. And just that's just kind of the way that things were and the way that I did them. And I found myself in a situation where I felt like I was the healthiest person I knew. I was getting enough hours of sleep. I was putting in the time at the gym. I was eating as healthy, as I possibly could. I was skimping out on the alcohol and all of these things. But what I realized is that just because I was crossing the T's and dotting all the I's and doing all the things I was supposed to, I was pushing my body way too far. And I was causing a lot of adrenal problems, hormone problems within my body. And what I really came to find out and believe and continue to teach and spread now is that there's no one size fits all approach. You have to figure out what works for you. Doing more is not more. Pushing against your metabolism and against your hormones is a fight that you're just never going to win. Sorry, especially for ladies, men as well, but I work mostly with ladies now. And just over the last 13 years, really figuring out, how to teach people that having balance and finding their own solution and not handing them, a specific blueprint that's the cure to everything is okay, and it will work, and it does take time and energy, is my main focus and method now, trying to see it as fun, not so regimented, having a plan, being able to stick to certain goals and things like that. But over the last 13 years, myself personally, I just kind of went from that spectrum to where I am now, which is just, what is sustainable for life? What can you do forever? What makes sense for your hunger, your energy, your cravings? What makes sense for you being able to be fully equipped to give your gifts to the world as well? And seeing it more about what you're able to bring and how you're able to bring it versus what you look like and what maybe is or isn't flabby here or there, especially after the holidays. I think we can all tell extra here, you know, and just kind of trying to, switch the priorities, switch the mindset of what's important and what actually being healthy and fit is and means, and how that like gets, let's say, reflected or acted out in real life, and what you're able to, bring to the table through that. So that's what I've been doing. And that's kind of like my scene more or less over the last 13 years. But learning the hard way, you know, pushing and not getting anything back in return. And finding out that that's not the way to go it's been really cool. So I was working, as in college, doing all of my workouts and things like that. That turned into a love and a passion for fitness. So I started personal training. I started personal training in home in people's houses. So not just doing the workout stuff, but like secretly spying and stalking, as we talked about, on like how they were living and like if they were staying and what they were doing within that hour of, you know, workouts with us, is really like what was reflected like in their refrigerator, in their habits, or like what was kind of going on in their own personal chaos. There's something really special about people allowing you to come into their house. And then after that, I transferred into now what I did for the last 6 years, which was working with Runtastic and building training plans and creating video and blog content for a mobile health and fitness company called Runtastic, based in Austria. Did that for the last 6 years. And now, kind of because that was so beautiful and so amazing and so robust and so broad and so many people, what I now come to love, and what I like to do, whether online or offline, is just to connect with people in a smaller space, more intimate, really get to know and learn what people are struggling with and what their definitions of success are. That's really exciting for me as well. And so, I've kind of been all over the board in terms of how I work with people and the types of people I've worked with. I've been in their homes, I've been in their smartphones. So it's kind of been an interesting process and experience, but I wouldn't change it. I really, really love this world as it continues to grow and develop. And I really, really believe that now we're in a good direction. I love Self-Care Summit. I love, you know, self-love. You know, it's not like the Blast Fat Summit or Burn More Calories or Do More Summit or, you know, Sweat More Summit or Sleep Less Hours, Team No Sleep Summit. You know, there's so many mindsets and just kind of like directions that are leading us in weird places. And I'm really happy with the direction that we're headed here in this summit.
I mean,
and just what you're doing and what we're doing. It's cool.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the tagline of the summit is "You're enough." And it's, you know, we've all forgotten that. And I love that piece of more doesn't necessarily equal better. It just means more, you know, and the ability for us to sometimes even do less to achieve more and slow down and understand that we, you know, fitness and health isn't these boxes that we just check. And I really love the piece you were talking about of you learn the hard way. And that's actually been a thread through most of these interviews that I've done so far. And I know for myself included, it's like when I was the strongest, when I was the fittest, when I had a six pack, I didn't really have as many friends. And my body didn't feel good, you know, and I wasn't as fun because there was this idea of it was too regimented. And, you know, to touch on what you said of almost finding what works for each and every one of us. There isn't just this pill that here's the program for everybody, here's the nutrition. So I love that piece that it's unique to ourselves, to our own processes. And really a lot of us leaders have said we've learned the hard way. And I don't know about you, but I'm passionate about showing people how not to do that. You know, it's like learn from what we've done that's taken us 10, 13, 15 years. And maybe someone else out there can learn it in a year, or maybe this conversation, it's like, that's cool. We can take our pains and then transport it. So, you know, if you're listening to Lunden talk about learning the hard way, and myself included, you know, take that and learn from us who've been in this industry for a long time. It's about sustainability. It's about finding joy. It's about finding things that work for you. Specifically. So I love that thread. That's been through a lot of the different conversations we've had. So how did you get into a career as a wellness professional? Because that's a big shift to go from like, I'm into fitness to I love fitness to now my career and my life is fitness. So how did you make that jump, and what called you to be a wellness consultant and expert?
Yeah. So, you know, from a very, let's say, big or philosophical viewpoint, I think you can say from yourself too. It's like sometimes, you know, your true career path, it doesn't like you choose it, but it also picks you, you know? So I truly, truly believe that for sure. So That's a huge one there. But like I said, I started in college just because I wanted to get myself fit, and that turned into getting my colleagues at the, the little college jobs I was doing, getting them fit, my coworkers, and then also the people I was in school with, getting them fit. And then from there, so I graduated with my bachelor's degree in psychology, and I was kind of like, I want to go back to school, but I really love fitness. I really love training people. I really love getting people out of their comfort zones, making them sweat, being in pain, love hating me a little bit. I really want to, do that a little bit more. And of course, I didn't want to like pour more money into college if I was kind of like, I kind of have a different direction I want to go here. So I started just, working, like I said, as a personal trainer. I never worked in a gym. I did work for a company that did outdoor training for a little bit, but then I just immediately switched into doing training with people like in their homes, or like, in like grassy areas in their neighborhood, and they'd invite their neighbors and we'd do group training. So I did a lot of that for like 5 years. And then it came the transition when like blogs became popular and like online stuff and whatever. So I started blogging, I started writing, just for like it wasn't WordPress, it was Blogspot, and it was called Fit for Life. And I was writing these blog postings, and actually is how I got in contact with Runtastic. So they were looking for guest bloggers. It was actually a guy based out of San Francisco, where you are. And he's like, hey, we're looking for guest bloggers. I saw you're writing a lot of really great content on fitness. Would you be interested in writing some blog content for Runtastic? And so I was like, yeah, sure. That sounds great. I love writing. What topics are you interested in? Whatever. We found a solution. And then I started writing for their blog. We met up in person a couple weeks later in San Francisco. And he's like, you would be perfect to do YouTube stuff. We've been wanting to do YouTube videos for Runtastic. Would you be interested? We'll send you some like video equipment. We'll get you some branded t-shirts, and we can go from there. And I was like, sure, yeah, that sounds fun. Like, they sent me to like, I was like 22. They sent me to Lululemon, and I could get like some expensive workout gear, and they branded it with Runtastic on it. And I got like a GoPro that like didn't even have the compatible app to the smartphone then. You couldn't even like see what you were filming. So sometimes I'd be like, hi, I'm Lunden. Welcome to the Runtastic Fitness channel, and be like cut off from here. So I'd have to redo everything all over again. So it's so cool to see not only how fitness evolves, but like technology, the way we're able to make content, connect with our clients. So that's really funny and fun as well.
People just see the finished products, they don't see the trainers, showing up at people's houses and training out in the fields and making terrible videos, so you don't just end up on camera one day doing it and making it look all pretty.
No, I know.
Process, huh?
And go back to the previous videos, and I laugh sometimes too. I'll sit with like my team, and we're like, "Oh my gosh, that was 6 years ago. Like, look how bad I was, and like how hard I tried."
The first ones of me, like I'm in the car, right? Like you've seen the first ones. I'm like in the car, my buddy's like interviewing me. It's like, that's so terrible, but whatever. Like, you got to get something out there.
Yeah, and like no one's as critical on yourself as you are. And I always not joke, but I have it on my bucket to-do list. At some point, I want to teach people how to like not give a shit on video, because like no one cares. And as long as you're able to, adequately articulate what you want to say and get your message across, whether it sounds corny at the beginning and more authentic later, you get better as you go on. So we did those videos, and that was really, really fun. I did that for 6 years. So I started in California for a year. And then from there, I decided, hey, Runtastic is based in Austria. I would love to live abroad. Is there an opportunity for me to somehow, be more involved in the company, work more closer, or work closer with the team, that we can really create awesome content, and not only awesome content, like a content roadmap and like plan and like cool social media stuff, fun, just whatever. So I got the opportunity to move to Austria. So I packed up all my things and I moved to Austria, and I worked in the office at Runtastic headquarters for almost 5 years, creating video content, writing newsletter content, and just doing a lot of stuff really around the whole picture of what it means to be, tech and health and wellness. Like it really was, that's what it was. We were bringing content to people, through YouTube, through Facebook, through apps, like totally so many different arenas. And it was really fun, and it was really beautiful, and I loved my time spent there. But as of May of this year, I just decided that the heartfelt feeling and that connection was missing for me within such a big company that was only reaching people through their smartphones and through tech. So I just decided that I wanted to, kind of do my own thing and step out in a way that was a bit more niche and was a bit more geared towards like what gives me the warm fuzzies and what sets my soul on fire, and like my real ideal client, and who I want to work with, and who I really feel like I could transform the lives of, or at least really vibe with and help them, you know, really get to that spot that they want to be at and reach those goals that they want to. I felt like, yeah, I was kind of targeting everybody, and I wanted just to target that one specific person that I felt like really I related to, on a head level, on a heart level. And yeah, that's what I'm doing now. So now I'm just working specifically, I would say like 98% with women my age or a little bit older that are just, looking to rock life, get healthy, get fit, get their mind right, get their body tight, feel happy, feel energized, you know, be sad, not only satisfied, but just like
tagline.
What?
Get your mind right, get your body tight.
Yeah, exactly. I need some shirts now. We're going to bust them out. Mind right, body tight. But yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like on a way that like, yeah, of course it really matters, and you need to think hard about it, and you need to care, and you need to give a shit, and you need to be afraid of a lot of the stuff that's out there that, you know, and be mindful of what we're putting into our bodies and be a smart consumer and all of these things. But we need to have fun, and we need to be excited. We need to learn how to teach ourselves and to spread the word to others. And that's my main thing now, is just to spread it as far and wide as we can.
So how do you, being, especially from like a traveler, and, you know, I've seen a lot of my clients when they travel, it's like health and wellness goes out the window. So, you know, for you as someone that's traveling and living abroad and busy and has pushed themselves, what does your self-care look like? I think some of the gems throughout this summit have really been about understanding what each and every one of us does for our own self-care practice, because it's such a broad topic, and that's why we chose it. And I think it can be, self-care can be anything, you know. So, but for you specifically, Lunden, what are kind of your tenets to self-care, and how does that show up for you in your life?
Yeah, self-care is huge. Self-care is really important. To touch on your point about traveling and being on the go, self-care, let's say products or things, have a much higher priority in my suitcase than like the cutest clothes or multiple pairs of shoes. So like I have my running shoes with me here where I am in South Carolina, and those are, they're cute. They're the Parley Adidas shoes. Like they're not like fancy. They're not like super, super over the top sporty. So I wear them for my workouts, and I wear them with my outfits and with what I'm doing. So I really prioritize making sure that I have the products that I need, that I have the supplements I want to take, that I have like my mini foam roller, that I have all the things that I want to have for my like me time, for me, right? My relaxation time, for my self-love time. I bring that as a higher priority, like in my suitcase, than some other things that maybe some women would, but I travel a lot. So I just am so sick of carrying stuff. I could care less what I have clothes-wise. But self-care for me, like you said, can be anything. So that's like my morning meditation. I bring my dry brush with me. So I do a lot of lymphatic detoxification with my dry brush before. It takes 3 to 5 minutes before jumping into the shower, whether I'm visiting a friend or in a hotel or wherever. I use my essential oils. I bring a lot of essential oils with me to help with calming and relaxation and balance, and just feeling grounded and being able to get good sleep and feel energized. I do my workouts. That's really important self-care regimen for me. So I can do that with my body weight. I don't even need anything. I can go for a run or whatever, things like that. But not only, like you said, it's not just what you do for self-care. It's like even just taking the time. And I sometimes find it so interesting and almost like comical or funny that people really find it so hard to convince themselves that they deserve to take like 5 or 10 minutes for their freaking selves. Because I'm like, you spend all day like giving, doing your job, running around like a crazy person, like, you know. And I'm like, but you can take 5 or 10 minutes for yourself, or even longer. So I'm super selfish with that time. That's absolutely for sure. And most of, I would say, my self-care, self-love stuff are just revolve around kind of personal care. So like taking the time, you know, after doing a shower, to put my essential oils on my feet, to do the trigger point stuff with like a tennis ball or a mini foam roller that I'll bring with me, to do stretching, to do yoga, to do prayer, to do meditation, to write down in my gratitude journal what I'm thankful for, to get planned and organized, you know, for like, for what workouts I'm doing or what that kind of looks like for me. So it's definitely high priority. Getting organized is a part of my self kind of love and self-care too. When I don't have all the stuff that I need for travel, that's when you make the mistakes. That's when you have the slip ups. That's when you find yourself just being like in disarray, hangry, pissed off, and just like want to go through the next drive-through. So yeah, staying healthy is a big part of self-love too on the go. Grocery stores are my absolute best friend. So So as soon as I get to where I'm going, I make sure that like either the hotel or the place I'm staying at has a fridge, or I've even stuck things like outside the window in super cold places and let that be a fridge. I'll go to the grocery store and get things like kombucha, fresh vegetables and fruit, hummus, like certain things that you can just like keep with you to have for either a meal or for a snack. I travel with little packets of protein powder that have collagen in them, and I'll mix that with some like almond milk or water or whatever. But I would just say, yeah, it's become a habit. I travel so often that I know what it feels like to feel like shit when you're on the go, and it's not fun. So I like to make sure that I'm sticking to my healthy eating regimens. I have the things that I need. I'm moving, I'm sweating. I'm taking the time to do that for myself. And then another thing for self-love is like, yeah, like massage and spa days and giving back to yourself, reminding people that it's not luxury, it's necessity. You can't beat yourself up in the gym, go crazy all over the place, be stressed out, cortisol up here, worrying about what the Kardashians are doing all over the place, like so spastic, and then not give back to yourself and, invest even money into letting a professional come in, do that massage, do that relaxation, and things like that too, that actually like cost time, energy. Yeah. Not really your energy, but cost time and money, So I see a big full circle there. Give me all the self-love at all angles.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of things you touched on is, I love what you said about making self-care a habit. And that's important, like making it a habit, making it part of what you do, making it part of who you are, instead of, oh, this is something I have to do. Or you even said like, almost like we think it's a selfish act. And that's come up a lot in a lot of these other conversations too, of like, self-care isn't selfish. And maybe actually not taking care of ourselves is, because if we don't fill our cup up, if we don't take care of ourselves, then what are we actually giving to the rest of the world? And I love those ideas of making it a habit and, not thinking of it as selfish. It's our life. And, a lot of people wonder why they're not healthy or wonder why they're not happy. It's like, well, when's the last time you just checked in to say, am I important? How do I feel? What do I want? Right? What do I need? And I think those are all beautiful things of making it a habit and making it a priority, and not something that, is just another thing on the checklist.
And, in doing planning and stuff for 2019 and like really getting, like we do, just getting laser focused and clear on like who we're targeting, what the message we want to spread. And one of the things that I wrote down was like, I really feel like, and I think this is like a previous-ish version of myself, but the person that I'm really trying to get the attention of and I want to wake up is like the person who I'm like, can you even slow down long enough to like hear this message? We're all going so fast, 5,000 miles per hour, that I often say like the person I'm after, like, it was like me, like doesn't even really know that they need me because they're going so fast that they haven't taken the time to stop and check in and be like, hey, am I happy? Like what work do I need to be doing physically, emotionally, whatever? I think we can all relate to that a lot. So one of the things I wrote, it was just kind of funny, is just like, slow down, girl, like fast enough for me or for long enough for me to just like let you know that like, hey, there's a sign here, and not just jam past it and not pay attention.
Yeah. I was at a yoga retreat, and the master, the guru or whatever, recently was saying that it takes 8 seconds for something to go to short-term memory to long-term memory, and I was like, well, no wonder none of us can remember stuff or pay attention, because I don't know anyone that's paying attention for 8 seconds on the same thing. Then he was saying if we want to get into mind over matter, like mastery, we've got to focus on something for 48 seconds before the mind can start to take control. I was like, I don't know a single person that's doing that, right? Maybe there's a couple out there. So, I mean, just slowing down enough to hear the message and let that be the start, just slowing down enough to be present with this conversation, right? Or to be with, or whatever it is you're doing. That in itself is practicing relaxation, the art of mindfulness and self-care. It's super important. Slow down, do less, right? And I almost hear you saying like, we're probably teaching the people that we were 5 or 10 years ago. I've seen that a lot too. I'm wondering if you picked up on that of, you're kind of trying to say, hey, 20-year-old Lunden, slow down before you get to, over here. I don't want to guess how old you are, so I'm not going to,
I'm 30. It's okay. 20-year-old Lunden. That's fine. You can say
perfect. It. It's like, hey, slow down. You don't have to go at such a fast pace to get here.
That's who we know. And we're not that we are unique and beautiful and special and amazing, but there's so many people that have the same shit as we do. We're not alone. So it's like, even if I am as a, let's say, hypothetical person talking to me 10 years ago, I know that that line behind that me is, you know, a bajillion miles long of people who are, yeah, we're in the same situation, same habits. And like you said, not making, or we're teaching from the mistakes that we've made, you know, finding coaches, learning at the summits, learning at the seminars, getting the best of the best, but then still making certain mistakes and then teaching those and teaching those. And I think it's, yeah, it's so great. It's so cool.
Totally. Awesome. Let's dive into your topic, detoxing the mind and body. I'm excited to hear what you've got to say on that. So break it down, teach us around how we're going to start to detox,
awesome.
Especially beginning of the year, perfect time for this.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's always the 2 times that people are most excited about detoxification and cleansing. It's like the new year, and then it's like a month before swimsuit season or summer. So this is like the hot topic. And I was speaking on a few different webinars and different things that I do. And I'm like, it's not like I'm trying to be super trendy. It's just like, this is when the time you guys are paying attention. So it goes to that point of like, can you slow down long enough for me to talk to you? And this is a time when people kind of are like thinking about it a little bit more. But detoxification and cleansing became a huge, huge, huge part of my life about 3 years ago. So like I said, I had made a ton of mistakes, yet I was the healthiest person that I knew. I was getting the shut-eye, I was doing the workouts, I was eating the healthy food, but I was still feeling like there was, my real self was trapped inside of me, and I wasn't feeling, like my best self. I had been on birth control for 11 years. I was put on birth control to combat against some acne that I had as a teen. I had been on birth control for 11 years, and it was absolutely turning my body into complete chaos, upside down. So I had issues with mood swings, multiple menstrual cycles per month, not feeling like myself, sleeping 8, 9, 10 hours per night, but not feeling energized, crazy cravings, feeling like I had to kind of psych myself up to be this character, this fitness person. But like, I knew that was me. I knew that's what I wanted to do. I knew that's what I loved, but it wasn't like, it was like, you know, when you're sparking like a Bunsen burner or like a lighter or something, and it's like the spark is there, but like you need something extra to help like that fire, like some lighter fluid or something like that. Exactly. Yeah. And so I was like pissed because I'm like, I know I want to be this person. Like, this is who I'm meant to be, but like, I can't muster it all up somehow, some way. So I'd gone to many, many doctors in Austria and in America asking for solutions. I didn't want to be on birth control anymore. I knew it wasn't serving me. I wasn't feeling good, but I had tried twice to get off of birth control, and both times resulted in like severe cystic acne all over my whole face. So being the person that I was, and not only being a woman and like giving a shit, you know, about what's on our face, especially when it's like horrible cystic acne, but I was working for Runtastic, a company where like 95% of the time I had a camera in my face. So I was like, what the heck? I don't know what to do. I spent $10,000 on a laser treatment. I did all the antibiotics, all the injections, all the peels, all the creams, all the things that you put on your body from the doctors to try to find a solution. And it just wasn't working. So I met up with Diane Kaiser, functional diagnostic nutritionist. I had known her in a previous life. Long story short, she became my coach because what she was talking about was a lot about detoxification and cleansing and how it's helping women find hormone balance in like complete chaos. So I was like, okay, I need to get in contact with her. I need to learn because this is what's happening to me. I'm not finding any resources. Nobody's listening to me. They want to give me creams and topical things, but truth be told, I'm not a doctor, but something else is happening inside. Okay. So I just knew like what's going on here. So I reached out to her. We worked together to really dig deep and find out why and figure out what was going on. And what I immediately started doing and what gave me the best results was when I started detoxification and cleansing, and not just like what I was eating. That was a big part, but luckily so I'd already been eating so well and eating in a way that really, gave me lots of energy. I wasn't like craving a bunch of stuff inside. I wasn't like hugging the cookie jar or anything. I would say some of my problems I had were very minor in terms of nutrition. But learning how to, shop smarter, eat a little bit better for a little bit more energy, learning how to detox my home products. So what I was cleaning in my home, learning how to detox my personal care products. So the stuff I was using, like my shampoos, my conditioners, my skin cream, my makeup, all of those things, infrared sauna. So further physical detoxification through dry brushing, infrared sauna, colonics, different things like that, like really detoxifying my whole body. Because what was happening, what we found is that my gallbladder, kidney, and liver, our prime detoxification organs, were working at such overload that when it came to kind of like a traffic jam, if you will, my body was basically excreting these toxins through my skin. So like all these supplements and protein powders and all of these things that I was taking, all this stuff on top of the birth control, was just not serving my body. And so what I found is when I took self-love seriously, when I made it a priority, when I was doing the things to come back to that parasympathetic, getting away from that fight or flight crazy madness, taking the time for myself, taking the time for meditation, taking the time for detoxification, not only in my, what I was consuming, but like in my home, also what I was like consuming in my brain. So not, I don't watch TV hardly at all, ever. I don't really give a shit about what's going on TMZ or any of that kind of stuff. I love reading. I love connecting with other people who like want to talk about more than just the weather and like want to dig deep in like cool, meaningful, awesome conversations, and really detoxifying in all areas of my life. Now, lo and behold, I went back to the doctor, the same doctors who said I had to be on birth control forever, who told me I had polycystic ovarian syndrome, that I had these growing cysts on my ovaries, and also one that was forming on my breast, which happened to be benign, that they would eventually get so big because of hormone imbalance that I would not be able to do any other way besides with birth control, that they would have to do surgery and remove them. So I went back to the doctor and she was like, I don't know what you're doing, but it's working. Like nothing's growing. You're fine. Come back in a year for your normal checkup. And I was like, yes, like probably did some like finger lifting of certain fingers behind her back that like wouldn't have made her happy. But I was just kind of like, all these years you guys have been telling me like, I have to do this. I have to do this. And it just came to a point of me detoxing and cleansing my body so that I could like actually hear what my body was saying, actually listen, actually be in tune. Ended up being my greatest doctor, my greatest teacher. And yeah, it's like you just get to a point where your body is just like, everything is so toxic and so piled up that you can't even hear amongst all the noise. So it took me taking the time, going step by step, having fun with it. As I started running out of products, replacing them with more natural solutions, taking the time where I was spending distracted, doing like a bunch of nothing, and focusing more on, self-love, meditation, bringing down the stress, and just, it helped and it worked, and it's continued to help with more and more and more women that we continue to see through a lot of the programs and stuff that I went through, that my coach is now creating as well, that I'm helping to coach and just teach people how to make it like manageable, and it's not that big of a deal. It's not that scary. Yeah, it's a mountain to climb, but like, you got this, you have the tools, And so, that's really, really, really what has been the biggest catapult in my life, is learning how to support our body's detoxification organs. We're doing a good job. Our bodies know how to cleanse and detoxify, but we're putting so much shit into our bodies, not only, like I said, consuming, what's coming in physically, but like what we're telling ourselves. Self-talk is a huge thing, so just, getting people to stop and take a moment and really realize like, we have to support our bodies. Okay. Our bodies are doing their jobs, but like, come on, like put a little bit of effort and oomph into it. Like, this is your like physical manifestation of your soul. Like, somehow give a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. And, and what I'll commend you on here, which is amazing, is that, you're being told by professionals who know more than you do, right? Of here's what you're supposed to do. Here's the only option. This is, if you either do this or pretty much you're fucked, more or less. And there's a piece of you that just kind of, I'm hearing that just said, this doesn't feel right. Like this, I know, maybe capital K, knowing, you talk about your soul, like, I know there's a different way here. I know there's more here that I'm not being taught. And to slow down, to be able to listen, right? And then two, for you, Lunden, is to then be able to be like, wow, now I'm going to go figure out how to make this happen. And I love how you touched on detoxifying your mind and like getting rid of that noise so you can actually hear and listen, and I don't think we talk about that enough. Have you seen I forget the doctor's name. He's a Japanese doctor, and he does the molecules with water, and he talks to them, and he'll tell one molecule of water that he loves it, and the molecules are just like beautiful and like flowing, and then he'll tell these molecules that they're pieces of shit and they're like decrepit. Have you seen that? Have you heard of that stuff?
You know what? It doesn't sound like completely unfamiliar, but I definitely have to Google it afterwards to check it. Like,
I finally I'll send it to you. He's a Japanese doctor, and he's got all these different tests, and they've tested the frequency of our thoughts on water molecules. And I don't think we talk enough about how the mind controls the physical matter that, that it lives inside. And to detoxify your mind, will do so much work for detoxifying your body. Even talking to yourself in a positive way, like a mantra I use is like, I'm healthy and well. I'm healthy and well. Instead of like, oh, I don't want to be sick or I'm not sick. It's like, no, I'm healthy. I'm well. And the body just responds. So it's not, I love the fact that you're talking about mind over matter in essence of, I'm going to tell this thing what I want it to do. Cause I kind of know. And then you talked about becoming your own teacher, your own healer. And that's an amazing journey of the people that know the best actually really don't know what was right for you. You knew what was right for you. You had to go find it.
It's very intimidating to take, and it's very intimidating to take that power back and be like, I know, I can listen. It's easy to be like, the doctor should tell me, this person should tell me, it's really easy to kind of like push the blame off on somebody else. In our little programs, we call it PTFD. So point the finger disorder. We want to give everybody else this power, but it's like, no, take the power back. But for some people, that's really scary to have all the power. We have the power. We really do. Like you can take it and you can change, the trajectory of your life and your health and all of those great things, but you have to own it. You really, really, really have to own it. That's super important. And to talk too about, like, physically the gut, when we cleanse it, when we get it set up, to get a lot of those bad guys out, put in the good bacteria, find that, that gut balance, deal with any leaky gut issues or anything like that you can do with cleansing and detoxification. The gut, the gut, trusting your gut, like that's real, so being able to have that connection between your mind and gut and like trusting your gut starts from detoxification and cleansing and getting the shit out so you can actually, have that connection there too. So that connection is totally real, not just to say like, oh, Lunden, I'm hungry or I'm full, not those connections, but like trusting your instinct, trusting your gut, listening to your body. Are those foods right for me? Are those people right for me? Is the situation right for me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it time to make a change? Is it time to take a jump in my career, in my lifestyle? Like all those things happen when you're detoxification, or when you're, let's say, supporting your detoxification organs, like taking your body seriously and listening. Like, it's not just about like, oh, like, what do I need to eat in order to have a six pack? It's like, no, like, how can I like mentally and physically set myself up to like ask for that raise, ask for that promotion, like be that exceptional partner. Like there's so many other areas where that transfers and transcends into. That's why it's so cool. And that's why it's so exciting for me.
Yeah. What I love is, all you or myself or your coaches or my coaches, all we can do is inspire people and say, here's a different way of being. Here's a different way to look at this. But then it's up to everyone that's listening to then take that and then go do it and then figure it out for themselves. I think that's super important. That's that taking that finger, like you said, and pointing it back onto our own self. Be like, wow, I do have the choice. I have the empowerment to decide what my life and my health is going to look like. So I love your approach of that mind, body, spirit. You're not saying that in those words, but that's, I'm picking that up, and it's all connected. And it's at the end of the day, it's not about really about your physical body. It's about how do these tools transfer into your life, your relationships, your partners, your confidence. That's the stuff you can't put a price tag on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And we hear a lot of people when they, it's like people complain about a lot of different things, but it's like, it kind of all comes down to the same like nitty gritty or foundation. It's like detoxification, inflammation, like getting the shit out of your body, getting the shit out of your mind can cure all of the different little hands, or let's say not cure, but aid in you helping to heal yourself. All of the little hands of saying like, I want more energy for this. Like, I'm emotionally unstable and like, this is not working, for me, my life and like my, after I'm eating, or I'm not getting good sleep. There's so many things that like, if you could just tune into your body and focus, like all of those little things would really go away. And it's a great foundation. It's a great place to start. And there's no one size fits all approach, but detoxification and cleansing and supporting your body is the only way you're going to get to know it. And if you're not going to get to know it, nobody else is.
That's for sure. Cool. How do we find your stuff? How do we find some of the resources that you've got around coaching? Tell us that before we kind of sign off here.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks so much. So everything you can find about what I offer, how to work with me, how to participate in the cleanse, how to do some consults at lifelikelunden.com, and then everywhere on social media at Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at lifelikelunden. You can get tons of information as soon as you go there.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks so much. I mean, I know I learned a lot. I feel like I might need to go do a fast or something now after our conversation, get out the holidays that I'm still working off myself.
Yeah, I mean, smart fasting, that's a whole nother podcast, seminar, whatever. But whatever you need to do to like flush things out and just keep things moving and going is very, very important. I mean, you're not just what you eat, you need to be able to absorb it and get it out and like the whole process nice and healthily. And yeah, and that's the way that it goes.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time. Thanks so much for sharing your knowledge and your passion. And it's been great. It's been great to connect. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. See you later. Bye, Nick.
All right.